This is RTV6 News at 5:30, working for you.
And now at 5:30, fireworks safety. More people may be doing their own this year because so many of the big displays won't be happening. Important information to keep you and your family safe. And his job is to put smiles on the faces of those who really need it. We'll meet Mac coming up.
Here's what we're talking about in our lineup today. Airports are finding new ways to make sure passengers in our cities are safe. How new technology looking for signs of COVID-19 is working. Also this.
I wanted to save a dog just as much as I kind of felt like it would save me.
How a program matching veterans and shelter pets is helping them both heal. And the rapid test being developed now that could be the solution to bringing back sports safely.
And now at 5:30, it's one of our favorite ways to celebrate the 4th of July, but setting off fireworks can be dangerous. And with so many public displays canceled, more people might be doing their own. Our TV6's Alyssa Donovan spoke with an expert about a few important things to keep in mind.
Heading into this holiday weekend, fire officials really want you to leave the fireworks to the experts. But if you do want to set some off in your backyard, there's a few things you should remember to stay safe.
It doesn't take much for fireworks to cause damage, which is why fire officials want you to educate yourself before lighting anything.
Talk to the individuals at the fireworks stores. They normally have videos, and it can help you, kind of figure out what you have and how to use them.
This year, many public fireworks shows have been canceled due to COVID-19 concerns, which means more people are purchasing their own to do at home.
You need to make sure that you're precautionary and making it safe by not drinking any alcohol if you're doing fireworks, keeping people at a safe distance.
One of the more popular fireworks that's always a crowd pleaser are the mortars, but they're also some of the most dangerous. And if it can do this to a watermelon, imagine what it can do to your hand.
Mortars are a large projectile, and if that tube that they shoot out, it all falls down and aims where your crowd is, it could be dangerous.
But it's not just the big bangs you need to worry about. Sparklers are the top injury from fireworks calls every year.
On a yearly basis, sparklers nationwide are normally the majority of injuries from fireworks, and they burn at such a high rate, 1,500 degrees, that even after they're out, they're still so hot.
So if you and your family are planning to celebrate this weekend with a backyard light show, be sure you're playing it safe. I'm Alyssa Donovan, RTV6.
Thank you for those tips, Alyssa. And Alyssa's demonstration was done with the help of the Carmel Fire Department. Carmel is one of the communities that will still have their public fireworks display, but with triple the fun. To reduce crowd sizes and keep people closer to home, they will bring you the fireworks displays at the same time on various sides of town tomorrow night. Fireworks will be set off on the east, central, and west side starting at 9:45 p.m. While the fireworks will take place, Carmel Fest and the parade are canceled this year. And if you want to see a list of the communities that are still providing fireworks this weekend, head to our website at theindychannel.com. Kyle.
I think the forecast is going to be cooperating very nicely for those fireworks displays. Hot out there this afternoon, a lot of blue sky, just a few fair weather clouds, and temperatures making their way in most spots back into the 90s, still at 90 degrees in Indy and Columbus, 92 in the Muncie area, and 91 right now in Lafayette. Fortunately, the humidity, we're looking at the dew point here, that moisture in the air, it's in the lower to middle 60s, so it's still not oppressive feeling out there. But once we get those temperatures into the 90s, it doesn't take very long before it starts to feel a little sticky. And as we get into tomorrow, the humidity rises a little bit, so we'll get into that very muggy range. Stifling, I think that's in our forecast as we go into early next week. Out there this afternoon and this evening, though, you've seen some of those clouds passing on by. Don't have to worry about any rain if you're maybe grilling out this evening or heading out to the drive-in. You got some nice weather there as well. Satellite and radar shows just a few clouds that are out there, and those clouds will be fading away as we go into the evening with sunset that happens a little after 9 o'clock this evening. But look at these temperatures. Yeah, it is no need for a jacket out there, with temperatures still well into the 80s here at 8 o'clock. We'll fall back through the 80s and into the middle and upper 70s here as we go into the early overnight. We'll talk about more heat building for the weekend and look at that firework forecast a little closer in just a few minutes.
Another new milestone in coronavirus cases in the U.S. This time, it's a global record. Numbers for Thursday reached over 55,000. That exceeds the previous single-day record set by Brazil about 2 weeks ago. The total in the U.S. stands above 2.7 million. Brazil has the next highest level of cases at over 1.4 million. Russia rounds out the top three at around 660,000 cases. And we're getting an update on the potential for generic drug shortages and rising costs because of COVID. An expert with the online pharmacy Honeybee Health tells us companies have hiked prices of almost 250 drugs by 24% since the virus hit. Dr. Jessica Nuhavandi says the market is still volatile.
Patients are still hoarding medications and prescribers are still kind of being pressured by patients to prescribe certain things so that the patients can keep them at home. And so we're still seeing that happen right now.
Her biggest concerns are for respiratory drugs and hydroxychloroquine. That's the drug that was touted as a potential treatment, but the FDA ended up pulling its emergency use authorization. Nuhavandi says since Dr. Anthony Fauci said this week that we could see 100,000 new COVID cases a day, studies on hydroxychloroquine have started up again. That's a problem for the rheumatoid arthritis and lupus patients that rely on it every day. Nuhavandi says she's also concerned about low-income Americans losing their jobs and thus their insurance, feeling like they can't get the medication that they need.
They think just because they lost their coverage, they can't get access to. And we want patients to know that it's important to stay on their regimen, to not, cut their dosages in half, and that there are options out there for them.
Options like Honeybee Health let you get prescriptions delivered with little or no insurance and sometimes at a lower price. Nuhavandi says the only thing that may drive pricing back down is competition because the U.S. doesn't have an entity that regulates the cost of medication. But when it comes to drug shortages, there isn't much patients can do. And checking back on the lineup, so many people have lost work during the pandemic, but the work at home shift has actually been a blessing for others who were already struggling.
As soon as I got the job, I was thrilled. I was like, oh my God, I can actually do something past my disability.
The challenges this woman has overcome in order to keep providing for herself and her family.
Get rallies delivered.
Remote work has become the new reality. Alicia Nieves introduces us to one woman who says the shift has her working for the first time in years.
While many people lost their jobs over the past few months,
Hi, how can I help you?
For some people, the pandemic caused a scenario that made it easier to find work. LaShonda Garner is one of those people.
In my situation, I was out of work for 16 years.
After nearly 2 decades, Garner found a work-from-home job at the start of the pandemic.
As soon as I got the job, I was thrilled. I was like, oh my God, I can actually do something past my disability.
Garner suffers from severe PTSD and anxiety that makes it difficult to work in a traditional work environment.
In my case, there's certain sounds, there's certain smells, there's different things that trigger your anxiety or depression. And when I'm at home, I can limit those things.
While previously work-from-home options were limited, during forced business closures and stay-at-home orders, the U.S. saw a surge in work-from-home jobs, especially call center positions.
The pandemic struck. All of the call centers had to send their agents home, and this is worldwide. And this is something that never happened before. And some of the agents that were sent home in India, the Philippines, and China didn't have the infrastructure in order to do those jobs.
Alan Hubbard is with the National Telecommuting Institute, which helps people with disabilities work from home.
All right, whenever you're ready.
LaShonda is actually one of many people with disabilities who have been able to find work-from-home jobs and thrive in that environment in the past few months. The company that helped her, NTI, has actually been able to place nearly 200 other people in the last 6 weeks, when typically they only are able to place about 50 people a month.
And that's what the pandemic has done. It's opened up this opportunity for these folks.
Hubbard is working with a dozen companies looking to hire another 240 people, while LaShonda is thriving in her current role and hoping her story inspires others.
Fight for what you want, because you will eventually get it. It may take you, hopefully not 16 years like me, but you will end up getting it.
I'm Alicia Nieves reporting.
Back to the lineup. It is a first-of-its-kind COVID-19 screening program at a U.S. airport. We're checking out how new thermal imaging cameras are working.
Working for you.
Airports are turning to innovation to protect passengers from COVID-19. They're testing technology that could detect the virus long before a traveler gets on their plane. If successful, aviation leaders tell Amanda Brandeis it could be one of many new industry standards expanded across the country.
Face coverings can be done. Our new travel normal could be highly sanitized, complete with plastic shields and social distancing signs at every corner.
There's really no playbook for this. We haven't experienced this type of a crisis in the aviation industry ever.
Justin Urbacci is the CEO of LAX, the world's gateway to Los Angeles. He says COVID-19's impact will be far more severe than the months after 9/11.
We're just trying to take things as they come and try to be innovative and think out of the box. That's really the only way we're going to be able to survive this.
The third largest airport in the world, LAX is testing thermal imaging cameras.
If you have a fever of 100.4, airport officials will stop you for a second screening.
See, we just saw a person whose face was all green, and that's indicating that they don't have a temperature.
Medical assistant Genevieve Guillen is screening travelers at the terminal entrance. LAX is the first to try the process here.
If the person shows signs like of red and the alarm starts going off, it's an indication that they may have a fever.
The passenger is then asked to take a voluntary second screening with a thermometer. Those with the fever are advised of the risk but aren't turned away.
The airline is in charge of determining whether they're going to travel or not.
The 12-week pilot program with 3 different cameras will help determine their accuracy.
We have to have a process that allows passengers just to flow in.
Only deployed for a week, the screenings have not yet detected anyone with a fever. Critics of the technology say even if it is accurate, it can't spot asymptomatic passengers. And some with other symptoms never get a fever at all. A study of COVID patients at New York City hospitals found only 30% had a fever when they came in.
These temperature checks are not meant to be the single solution that is going to make everybody safe. It's just one layer of protection in addition to many others.
So far, travelers have been cooperative.
Everyone is a bit scared, so I think they'd rather take precautions than, take the chance in flying.
Whether this works or not, travel will be forever changed. Hopefully, passengers say, for the better. In Los Angeles, I'm Amanda Brandeis reporting.
If the pilot program is successful, LAX will try to install the technology permanently as soon as possible. Outfitting the entire airport would cost millions. LAX hopes the government will help pay for that.
Anyone who has a dog knows what a comfort they can be, providing unconditional love every single day. But one dog alone is doing that for thousands of families. Meet Mac, the Australian Labradoodle. The playful pup is on duty almost every day at the Ronald McDonald House in Indianapolis. The Ronald McDonald House provides a place for families to stay when they have children in the hospital. They served over 5,500 families just last year, and Mac, the service dog, is there to help brighten their day.
5,500 families got to visit with Mac, and after a long day at the hospital with a sick child, having a wagging tail and a dog that you can just visit with for a minute means a lot to people. So that's one of his roles, and then the other role is he's a coworker for all the staff here, and so it brightens your day when you see him, when he runs up to you or he comes back to your space and you feel a cold nose against your hand, and there he is. So he provides a lot of cheer and a lot of comfort for a lot of people.
Mac will be 4 years old at the end of the month, so he still has a lot of opportunities to spread joy and comfort when families need it most.
So cute. How can you not feel better?
Just darling.
Right? Okay. Well, we're also feeling better because we are seeing some activity out at the track. It is going to be busy this weekend, and Brad Brown earlier this evening showed us some of the enhancements out there at IMS. We'll be watching the forecast tomorrow afternoon. Just a small chance that we may have a shower or thunderstorm sneak in there. Right now, we are all dry and all running on the hotter side. It is 90 in Indy, 92 right now in Kokomo, upper 80s with a few more clouds in the Bloomington area, and there's that breeze still out of the north and northeast. So that's keeping the humidity on the lower side, but it will start to come up here for the holiday weekend. Saturday and Sunday, the 90-degree heat isn't going anywhere. 92 Saturday afternoon, Sunday at 93. And again, we've got just that isolated shower or storm chance. So a lot of us are going to go through the entire weekend without a drop of rain. As we look at your Saturday here hour by hour, those temperatures already close to 80 degrees here by 9 o'clock in the morning, and we'll be into the middle 80s by 11 a.m. We'll have a few clouds out there, but I think we're dry the first half of the day. It's not until we get into the heat of the afternoon that we'll see that isolated shower or storm popping up here. Saturday forecast shows those highs hovering right around 90 degrees as we go through the afternoon. So certainly going to be busy out at the pools that are open with a temperature of 93 in Rockville, 91 in the Rushville area. And TrueCast shows on Saturday, again, a few of those clouds into the afternoon, but just very hit and miss as far as that rain coverage. And once we hit sunset, those showers will dissipate. As we look at Sunday's forecast, actually more in the way of sunshine. Temperatures back into the 90s once again for us. Here's a look at that 7-day planning forecast with 90-degree heat right through Friday.
Let's start the news feed. Summer camps are feeling the impact of coronavirus. A new report says more than 60% had to close this summer. That's expected to come with a $16 billion loss for the companies that operate these camps. And the U.S. Mint is trying to deal with an unexpected effect of the pandemic. Because people aren't going out to shop as much, there are less coins circulating, meaning there is now a shortage. Experts hope the reopening of businesses will help overcome that shortage. And Twitter is trying to motivate people to wear masks. It says it will add an edit button if everyone wears a mask. Many Twitter users have been asking for that edit button for years. And since COVID-19 hit, a record number of young adults have been forced to leave their own homes. According to Zillow, 32 million are now living with parents or grandparents. Experts say the longer young people stay at home, the deeper the impact on real estate. Veterans can sometimes feel out of place when they return home from deployment, but one organization is trying to change that by pairing up veterans with pets in need of a good home. And as Maya Rodriguez tells us, it can be a life-changing match for both.
You ready?
Outside his New Jersey home, Joshua Nola and his dog Bud love spending time together on their daily walks.
You know, no matter what, when I come home, he's always in a great mood. You know, he's always happy. He's always got a smile on his face. Hey.
It's a bond that Nola values deeply. He's a Marine Corps veteran who deployed to Afghanistan, and when he returned home, felt something was off.
You know, I've dealt with depression with stuff, dealing with a little bit of survivor's guilt.
Those feelings are not unusual for veterans. The VA says each year more than 1.7 million veterans get treatment for mental health. Enter the nonprofit Pets for Patriots.
Very simply, Pets for Patriots seeks to give veterans a new pet friend while saving the most overlooked, undervalued shelter dogs and cats around the country.
Beth Zimmerman founded Pets for Patriots as a way to help veterans heal emotionally while helping pets in need do the same.
There were two different populations, veterans and shelter animals, that had different but very complementary needs. And if I could find a way to bring them together in a really intelligent way, in an innovative way, that it would help both of them.
In the 10 years since Pets for Patriots began, the program has paired up nearly 3,000 veterans with shelter pets around the country, helping not just with the adoption, but also with the pet's lifelong care.
So we inspire veterans to adopt these animals by providing a range of benefits to make pet adoption affordable over the life of that pet.
And more than that, says Joshua Nola.
They're constantly in contact. They've kind of become like a part of the family.
Which is part of the goal, says Beth Zimmerman.
Time and time again, you just see these stories where the veteran heals himself or herself by helping the pet overcome what he or she has been through, and it's really pretty amazing.
Back in New Jersey, Joshua Nola and Bud continue on their path to healing together.
I wanted to save a dog just as much as I kind of felt like it would save me.
In Toms River, New Jersey, I'm Maya Rodriguez.
An app is now available to follow the progress of a new national memorial. We've previously told you about the World War I sculptures under construction in D.C. The app makes it possible to take a virtual field trip to the site and find stories on the greater impact of the conflict. One final check on the lineup. There are a lot of questions surrounding how sports can come back safely. How a rapid test in the works now could be the answer.
Around here, we fight for what's right.
A rapid test that's being developed now could be the answer to sports like football returning in the fall. The director for the National Institutes of Health says that test would be done on site for teams. It would give you a result within an hour. He says this would prevent an outbreak that would wipe out an entire team.
The path we are on right now, and again, this is a white knuckle goal because it's never been done at anything like this kind of timetable before, would be to have an additional 1 million tests per day available for the kind of point of care on the spot testing that's very much needed for going back to school and going back to sports events.
He says the goal with this rapid test is to make it so it wouldn't need to be shipped off to a lab. And if it did have to be taken somewhere off-site, it would need to be to a lab very close by. Dr. Anthony Fauci says there's been some confusion about the role he plays in the future of sports starting up again.
I've gotten asked by anywhere from the commissioners in charge of a particular professional organization to the Players Association to the health people associated with different sports. And that's everything from baseball to football to hockey to soccer to, all the sports. And what I do is I answer questions based on scientific evidence and public health judgment.
Dr. Fauci says he doesn't make any determinations about what sport can or should be played. He says they have very qualified people with the teams that make that decision after he gives them his public health opinion. One thing he says he tells them all is they should pay special attention to the safety and health of the players as well as spectators who are going to rely on their judgment. And we're seeing businesses try all kinds of creative ways to stay open during the pandemic. One we visited is taking quarantine to a whole new level. Monday, how they're creating a spot where large extended families can be safely together.
We had some heavy downpours in the end of June, but it might be soon time to get that sprinkler out.